Very good evening, bums, and welcome to the February edition of Bums Corner Coast to Coast. I'm Tom Arnholt out here on the left coast.
And way over here on the right side of the map, I am Mike Eshelman. This is our 15th episode that we're doing right now.
Wow.
The second one of our second year. Who would have thought? And I'm going to tell you, when we put together January, there was a glut of stories. There was just nothing going on.
It was scary.
The cupboards were bare. And then out of nowhere a few days ago, Tom puts this document on our shared Google Drive, and it is just bursting at the seams with stupidity.
Yes. So thank you, America, for stepping up and reclaiming 2021 truly as the year of the bad choice.
Absolutely. You know, all the vaccines go out, the restrictions come down, and all the stupidity that's just been brewing for a year comes bursting out.
All the stuff you didn't want to see, you know, in the new normal. Yeah, it's there.
And it's glorious.
Yeah.
Say what you want about Americans, but we will never, ever not be stupid.
That's true. You know, and that's the beautiful thing about freedom.
Amen.
Yeah.
What else? There's not a lot. We don't have any notes from the past meeting to go over or anything.
No, nothing from the minutes.
No. We do want to give a shout out to our benevolent sponsor, Big Kitty Labs.
Yes. Big Kitty Labs.
So,
they can solve anything.
They can. They're miracle workers. If you have an idea and you want to turn that idea into a stack of money, that's the people you call.
Right? Think about it. If we had a Big Kitty Labs when we were in high school or early if we had a Big Kitty Labs in our 20s, we'd be Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos right now. And they'd be somebody else. They'd be just some chumps. If there was a benevolent think tank that could, that sole purpose was to turn your, I hate to be cliche, but your dream into reality. That's kind of what they are about. It's like, will this work? Sure. Or no.
I want to agree with you so bad, but then I think about some of the stupid shit we came up with when we were 20, and I think we still would have existed, but we would have bankrupted this benevolent entity.
Well, yeah, that's when we're Gen Z. That's what we do.
Nothing we did was that great, but it came out with such awesome stories.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If nothing else, there's that. And I think that's where I think we kind of missed the mark at the early days of YouTube.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think we could be YouTube famous, 20 years ago.
Yes.
Or 10 years ago.
Absolutely. And you hit on that in tonight's batch of articles too.
You like that segue?
Yeah, that was
it's
beautiful.
Like I've done this before.
All right, so we're going to stick Big Kitty Labs ad in right here. So we will see all of you again in 32 seconds.
All right, boys, how many dollars you gonna give for it? Hey, come on in there, we're gonna sell a module. Hey, you need a prototype. Hey, dude, hey, come on in here. Come on, Startup Nation. Hey, hello, America. Put that eggnog down and welcome to the new year. You got dreams and we're ready to make them. We got apps, APIs, and websites, platforms, enterprise solutions, and loads of healthcare experience. Better yet, we know what to barbecue. It's a time of promise, people. COVID is on your ass and you're going to make some cash. The time to innovate is here. Old business, new business, revamping your business. Come one, come all, we got you covered. So come on down to Big Kitty Labs and breathe some life into that big idea you got. And let's get busy today. Visit us online at bigkittylabs.com. hibernation.com.
You know, that's a weird fucking ad.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
It's crazy.
I remember, when Dan sent that to us, and I was like, "Well, that's awesome. That's just so completely like perfect."
Yes.
For what they do and for what we do, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, in half a minute, they tell you who they are, what they do, how to get a hold of them, and yet there's so much weird. There's like an hour's worth of weird going on around it. You know.
It begs so many questions, and that's not to go off on a tangent, but that's the beauty of radio advertising, or of audio advertising. Sorry, that it creates that theater of the mind, and it's you're not limited to what you can see. You're limited to your imagination based on deriving in your own head the images that are concocted by what you hear. So I think you get a lot more mileage, and it's a lot more, to me personally, granted I'm biased, but you get a lot more mileage out of an audio spot than you would a TV spot, because of the, TV, you're limited by what you can show on a screen versus, audio, where you're only limited by the listener's imagination.
This opinion is brought to you by a guy whose living depends on audio advertising.
Actually, it doesn't so much anymore. However,
oh Christ!
Support your locally owned, independently operated radio station.
The three of them that are left in the country,
right? Man, and the best one of them is right there in Columbus, Ohio.
What, CD 101 or WWCD? I guess they can't call them 101 anymore.
Yeah,
90 something,
92.9.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I love they had a T-shirt because initially they were 101.1 and then they were 102.5, 102.5, 3. They were 102 point something, and now they're 92.9. And the T-shirt is great because it's got they use that oval logo. Yeah. Like the European drive, in Europe they use those there's a designator that you can stick that on your card and tell people where you're from. Right. So they're like, oh shit, they're from Belgium, quick, get out of the way. So they got that European oval sort of format on their logo. And the T-shirt's got the 101.1, 102.3, and the 92.9 is, and the first two are like X'd out, and it's like third time's the charm.
That's awesome.
Like, that's brilliant.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I will admit I don't listen to terrestrial radio anymore, but back when they started, they were an amazing station. I mean, they would play anything. It reminded me of like two guys with a milk crate full of CDs. Just like, here's what I got for the week. Play it. They would play anything, and it was fantastic.
And kind of for the most part, that's kind of how it was. We had carte blanche to kind of do what we wanted, and it wasn't. We weren't beholden to I'm sorry, I keep saying we. They weren't beholden to a corporation, or a board of directors. Right. It was, a guy who really liked radio that said, I'm going to throw some money at this, and I want a radio station, and I'm going to hire people who love music to make it happen. And that's kind of what it was. We'd get, they would get stuff sent in, and most radio stations are run this way. Is, your program director gets, the labels send in CDs, and you sit around, you listen to it, and you decide what's good. But with 101, I think a lot of they've got the latitude to go, yeah, the label's really pushing this, but it doesn't sound good.
Right.
So, no, we're going to play this one.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
I was a huge fan. And, here in Columbus, there just was nothing, no competition. I think we had one metal station, a couple country stations, and the rest of it was just 60s and 70s rock.
Yeah,
Top
we had
40.
an oldies.
Top 40. Yeah, and oldies. I guess you're right.
Yeah, we had an oldies station for a while, and then nobody could beat WNCI. They were the contemporary hit, the CHR Top 40.
Right.
It was pop. They call it pop for a reason. It's popular.
Mm-hmm.
But for people who really like music, it's nails on a blackboard.
It truly is.
It's scrotum on a cheese grater. It's just not. It's not an enjoyable experience.
Mm. Okay. So, anyways, we have some articles and shit to talk about.
Oh yeah, the thing that we do.
Shit.
See, don't get me talking about radio, man. I'll go forever.
I never thought I'd get turned on listening to our own show, but man, now all I can think about are cheese graters.
You're welcome.
It's that smooth DJ voice of yours that gets me every time.
Flip it over for a fine grate.
Oh, fuck. Okay, so anyways, so Tom always dumps this big pile of articles on, and we sort of go through and read them and look. And so I'm going through his list. I'm like, okay, yeah, naked guy doing this, naked guy doing that. And then I got to stick up gets a little, sticky. And again, it's not that different from every other article. It's just where it occurred that just tugged at my heartstrings.
Absolutely. Yeah, the headline caught me, but then the first line, you're like, oh, where?
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
So,
oh, yeah.
Let me read the article, and then we will go into why it's so fucking amazing. Stick up gets a little, sticky. Talk about not taking rejection well. A maskless man was denied service at Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles. So what did he do? He returned with a gun, authorities say. As reported by ABC7, after being denied, the man returned with a firearm and demanded all the chicken, waffles, and syrup before running off. The incident happened at the Roscoe's location in Pasadena, California on Wednesday evening, and restaurant staff admitted to the police that they were a bit confused as to what the man wanted when he returned with a gun because the cash registers were not in front. Robert Gonzalez, a cook at the restaurant, recalled, "He comes straight towards me with a gun, pointing at me and saying, put all the chicken in the bag." The suspect demanded they turn over food, chicken, waffle, syrup, to him. No word on exactly what quantity of food he was able to grab, but the man ran off, but not with any cash, according to store manager Angela Prito. He actually took chicken, and before he walked out the door, he took syrup for his chicken.
He's not an animal.
No! The whole incident was caught on camera, and coincidentally, due to the man's non-compliance with wearing a mask, his face was captured. No one was hurt, and the suspect is still on the loose. Okay. Again, we've read thousands of these over the year. But when I was looking through this and I got to Roscoe's,
yep.
I'm like, this is the very first article that we're going to do this episode. I don't care what Tom says. Because, for those of you unaware, there's this movie that came out in 1988 starring John Cusack and Tim Robbins called Tapeheads. And it is, for me, the high watermark of American cinema.
Truly.
It's an amazing movie. It's hilarious, but they're a video production company that are doing terribly. They can't get a job to save their lives. And then they accidentally dub this heavy metal song onto a funeral video. And it becomes this huge hit on MTV. And it's all this satirical look at pop culture
Yeah.
while these two guys are just fucking around doing something that they love. And one of the videos they make was for Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. And it was this, I mean, I've listened to it probably 4 or 5 times today, just getting ready for the show. It's hilarious.
Right. It's such a great spot. I mean, they captured it so wonderfully. And it was funny because I didn't know Roscoe's really existed until a couple of years ago when I moved to California. I'm like, oh wait, what?
Yes.
Oh shit, for real?
And I found out the same way that about this article. Just some weird thing happened there. I'm like, what the fuck? That's real? And so, I'm on Google, bang, 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 bang. And yeah, it's like a chain. And I was hoping that fuzzy-haired salt and pepper guy was the actual owner of all the chains. Like there was in the movie.
King Cotton is the guy that played Roscoe in the movie.
But I that video on YouTube has been viewed like 40,000 times. I'd say I'm about a third of that. So I love that song. Love that song.
Because waffles just pancakes with little squares on them.
Oh, it's brilliant.
It's inspired. And it was what's funny is having had the unique opportunity to view California television over the last couple of years. Granted, it was 88, but that's still something that would completely fly right now.
Really?
Like they didn't veer too far off. Like that wasn't satire. That was, hey, we're gonna do a spot that you would normally see on KABC.
Amazing. Before we get into all of the meat of this story, if you haven't seen Tapeheads, track it down.
Do yourself a favor.
I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but hunt it down. Go to your library and get a copy of it. It's funny.
Yeah.
One of the best soundtracks, I'd say, of any movie from the past, I'd say 20 or 30 years.
Oh God, what was the Swedish band that did it's like Square Cubed?
Yes, and Devo actually did the
Baby Doll.
Devo sang a song in Swedish.
That was Devo. Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you have Devo on the soundtrack. You have Fishbone is on the soundtrack doing a song. And then there's
who were the Swanky Modes?
They were just the Swanky Modes. They created that band. They have like 4 or 5 songs in the movie too.
Yeah, for some reason I had it in my head that it was Sam
of Sam and Dave, like Sam Cooke.
Not Sam Cooke, the other Sam from Sam and Dave.
Oh,
that wasn't Sam Cooke.
My bad.
No, sorry. But I forget his name. But I think like one of them were Sam and Dave. Sam or Dave.
You were right. The Swanky Modes is a fictional duo portrayed by real-life legendary musician Sam Moore of Sam and Dave.
Moore.
And Junior Walker of Junior Walker and the All-Stars.
Fucking Junior Walker, that's right.
Yes. So, yeah, just watch the movie. I don't want to spend our entire night here talking about how amazing it is, but just track it down and watch it. If you don't like it, fuck off. I don't even want to talk to you anymore. Just you do not exist in my world.
Yeah. I almost lost a girlfriend over that movie.
You didn't lose.
Like you fall asleep one more time during this film, and it's over.
Nope. That is the line in the sand. Like if you cannot enjoy part of Tapeheads, you do not exist in my world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, anyways, above and beyond how awesome it is that Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles was in the story, here's a dude. Okay. And I'm sure you've seen the videos of people that get pissed when they go in where it says on the door, you must wear a mask. And they walk in without a mask and try and order and they get pissed. This guy took it, man, like to the extreme here, coming back with a gun and robbing them of chicken and maple syrup.
Well, you got to have the syrup.
Oh, that makes it. That makes it. It's that greasy, salty chicken with that sweet syrup that makes it for.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Lebowski-esque rug that brings it all together.
Right. But holy Christ, that guy was jonesing for some chicken and waffles.
Right, I love it. Put the chicken in the bag.
Put the chicken in the bag.
Puts the lotion on its skin.
Yeah, and the thing about fried chicken, man, he had to eat that pretty fucking fast. It does not travel well. You know, so
yeah. Well, yeah, especially fast food fried chicken. I mean, you know, you could go a day, you know, in the fridge with it and still be all right. But
yeah, but optimal.
But those waffles aren't going to keep.
No, God, no. Those are the rug that brings the room together after a good half hour.
That's like a cake in the rain, man. That's not going to last. That's no good for anybody.
Oh, anyways, dude, this is the gold standard for our articles. I mean, it brought back my youth with tape heads. The fact that the guy refused to wear a mask and then held the place up so he's easier to identify. It's got everything.
Well, that's the thing. He was refused service for not wearing a mask and then comes back without a mask, but with a gun.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not a statement on mask deniers so much. However, yeah, I think there's a couple of dots that could be connected there.
Oh, shit. Yeah, just amazing. Absolutely amazing. So good. So good. And, you know, after I read that article and just ran around the house all happy, and I was like singing the song, you know, like, come on, all you flaggers. I thought, I'm not even going to bother reading the rest of Tom's stuff because it's all going to be downhill from here.
Right? Roscoe's the name, and they call me the king. Grand Master of the chicken and the waffle game. I mean, come on. It's been 100, it's been 100 years since I've seen the movie. That fucking song is in my head.
Oh, so good. So good.
One final thing. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was produced by a monkey. By one of the monkeys. It wasn't like 100 trips like Shakespeare. No, it was the band, the Monkeys.
Oh my god!
Like Mike Nesbitt or something.
Oh.
Yes, it was produced by that monkey that wore the hat and was on the skateboard.
Like a grinder monkey.
Yeah,
oh.
He had the little vest, his little cup.
Oh my god!
Give me money for movie.
Jesus Christ! Oh. I did not see that coming. That. Oh.
Yeah, it was produced by the Chimp that was cameoed in The Incredible Shrinking Woman, starring Lily Tomlin.
You just described the plot for every movie that Disney came out with in the 70s.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, fuck. Okay. So.
Sorry. Moving on.
Yeah. Bring us up.
Oh.
Something uplifting.
All right. So earlier I was talking about how we could have all been YouTube famous. Well, here's a guy that kind of volunteered himself out of that possibility. YouTuber who thought an armed robbery prank would be a good idea ends up in a body bag.
Oh.
20-year-old Nashville-based YouTuber is dead because he wanted to rob someone as a prank. WSMV reports that Timothy Wilkes was killed when he ambushed a group of people at the Urban Air parking lot in Hermitage, Tennessee. The location is a trampoline and adventure park. Police were summoned to the scene and interviewed 23-year-old David Starnes Jr., the prankee. who was carrying a gun, and he claimed self-defense. According to Wilkes's friends, the two thought it would be hilarious if they both held up butcher knives and charged a group of strangers as a prank robbery. Unfortunately for them, Starnes didn't see the camera and fired his gun to protect his friends. Metro Police did not charge Starnes, but say the investigation is ongoing.
There's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah. You know, initially, I recall the wise words of Forrest Gump, as he so deftly stated, "Stupid is as stupid does."
Yes. Yes.
Oh. You know, it's funny. I get it. You know, YouTube. No, I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm lying. I don't get it. Why? Why is this a good idea? Why? Hey, you know what will be funny? Jumping out at people with wielding knives.
Yeah, that. I mean, yes, I understand the concept that to be YouTube famous, you have to take it a step beyond the people that came before you, right? Okay, so, and I was trying to think about this today. Like, what if Jackass came out 20 years before it did? Would we have incorporated a lot of that stupidity into the dumb shit that we did?
I don't
see.
No, I don't think so, because I mean, for me at least, and from what I've seen, is that the people who watched Jackass and liked it and thought it was funny. I mean, Jackass was kind of a cautionary tale,
right?
You know, because you see them do it, and it's, you know, it's one thing to go, oh, you know what? That hill is a monster fucking hill. Let's put me in a grocery cart and push me down it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to do that anymore because you've seen
right?
it. So that idea has already been like, well, that's a bad idea. That looked like it hurt like really bad. So let's not do that.
All right, that's a valid point.
You know, maybe not hit me with a 2x4.
Or God.
Maybe not light a firecracker between my ass cheeks.
Oh, was it Steve-O, like, had all that shit stapled to him? I don't think I've ever cringed so much watching a TV show and they were doing that to him, like with an actual staple gun, like you.
With one of those, like the hang flyers up.
Yeah, and they were like hanging stuff on his balls. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, bad example, but okay, I get.
Well, no.
See, here's the thing, though. You know, all of these kids like, I want to be rich and famous by putting shit on YouTube, but they don't see everything behind that has to happen for that to succeed. Like, okay, most of the shit that was in Jackass was staged. You know? Yeah. You have to get people to sign waivers and all of that. So you can't just... Obviously, you cannot run up to a pack of people in Tennessee brandishing a knife and expect that to work.
Yeah, nothing good is going to come from that.
No. So... But, I mean, obviously you can't tell Timothy and his buddy that just to say, hey, you know, when you see somebody else do this, there's a lot behind it, you know? There's a lot of work going into this. You don't just grab a camera and start going. So, there's that. But there's also, this dude brought a gun to hang out with his buddies at a trampoline park.
See, there is that side, too. Trampoline and adventure park. What kind of adventure is happening there?
I mean, yes, lucky for them, since they were fake attacked by two dudes with butcher knives. But, I mean, when you're getting rest for the day and like, all right, I'm going to go hang out with my buddies and jump on a trampoline. I've got my keys, got my wallet, got my sunglasses. Better take old Betsy. You never know.
Almost forgot the Glock.
Right? Now, in the news article, or the it was a news station had like footage of the outside of the place, and it was in a strip mall. So there's a chance they were doing something else there and not going to, to bounce around for a couple hours.
Yeah. It's like, we got time before the movie starts. Let's go jump on trampolines and have an adventure.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, yeah, the kid had it coming. You don't bum rush strangers with a knife and expect something hilarious. You expect something bad to happen.
Yeah, I don't think anybody says, what would make great comedy? Mm-hmm. Bum rushing strangers with butcher knives. Right. That's hilarious.
And I guess, thinking back to when we were young and dumb, we did a lot of stupid shit.
Oh, yeah.
But we did it to ourselves and each other. For the most part, we pretty much left the general public alone.
Yeah, we tried to stay as self-contained as possible with our mayhem.
Absolutely. Because, you could get in trouble a lot easier the more people that know about the dumb shit that you're doing.
Right.
So don't broadcast it. But I don't know. It has to be a generational thing. Thank God that phones did not have cameras when we were kids.
Oh yeah. I'm so glad the internet was new when we were growing up.
Yes. And it was just a green screen. But yeah, one less YouTuber. And sadly, I'm sure that somebody tried that right after that article came out, too.
Oh, yeah. Like, he just did it wrong. Right? What?
Yeah. Okay. So, not that anyone in this age group listens to our show, but here's the thing. You can make videos of stuff like that, but you have to plan it in advance. And, get your buddies to pretend that you're mugging them and film it, and it'll still be just as funny to the general public, but you won't get shot.
Right? Win-win.
Yeah. Or get shot and give the gene pool a chance of cleaning up the mess that you would have made.
Win-win.
Fuck. Okay. I'm going to take a stab at our third article here about Joseph Davis.
He's a treat.
Yeah. And the One Ring.
One ring to rule them all.
My precious. Here we go. Man steals rings from one girlfriend to propose to the other. What could possibly go wrong? A Florida man has found himself in quite the entanglement and is wanted after authorities say he stole an engagement ring and wedding bands from a girlfriend and used them to propose to another girlfriend. According to ClickOrlando.com, 48-year-old Joseph Davis was dating two women. It was only when one of the women, located in Orange City, Florida, discovered he was engaged to another woman who lived in Orlando that his double life began to unravel. When this woman discovered her boyfriend's infidelity, she proceeded to look up his fiancée, only to realize that she was wearing an identical wedding band and engagement ring to her own from a previous marriage. Turns out, it wasn't just a similar style. After checking her jewelry box, the woman realized her rings were missing, along with several other pieces of jewelry totaling over $6,000. The Orange City woman reached out to the fiancé, who returned some of the items, and they both called it off with Davis, who had given the women fake names of Joe Brown and Marcus Brown, the sheriff's office says. Even though they did not have his real name, the jilted women remembered he had a relative in North Carolina, and detectives were able to track down the relative, who identified Davis, according to the sheriff's office. Both women, who met Davis on the dating app OkCupid, are working with authorities to find Davis. His whereabouts are currently unknown.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oy.
Yeah. All right, so watching the Lifetime movies, I get it that there are these guys out there that want two completely separate lives with two completely
Yep.
separate women. But
Sure.
I mean, the guy should have gotten another job or something. You don't rob one to feed the other one.
Exactly. I mean, come on.
That's
If you're gonna have the double life, at least have the means to finance both.
Exactly. And those are the ones that succeed, at least according to my research by watching Lifetime movies. They're the ones that are super wealthy that can afford to build two completely different families that, they're separate enough that they'll never come in contact.
Right. Well, even like the truck drivers and traveling salesmen from the 70s that would do this could afford, knew not to do that sort of, not to take that kind of stupid risk. This guy, the Orange City is 35 miles away from Orlando. I mean, that's pretty much the same neighborhood,
right?
In a lot of places,
right?
That's a little. It's like trying to do this like in your row house or in your apartment complex.
Oh God, yeah, that was awesome, dude. I felt bad for the women. I mean, they met somebody on OkCupid, and the relationship went well enough that, one of them was at least considering getting married to the guy.
Right.
And then to find out that he's not even the person that he used a fake name the entire time. That's gonna be gut wrenching,
Like, how do you get to for that length of time? It doesn't say how long they were together or the relationship lasted, but to get to that stage of a relationship under a fake name,
exactly.
That's a level of fuckery that is just beyond me.
Yes, and
I mean, I've been the epitome of the horrible fucking boyfriend. But yeah, holy crap, dude.
All right, so you have the time commitment, and this guy is 48, so he's like our age. Where does he find the energy to live a double life and date again? He's not like sleeping with somebody on the side. He's created two separate relationships with these women. I mean, yeah, okay, one of them he's engaged to, but the other one, obviously they're far enough in the relationship that he can be left alone with her jewelry box. This isn't some little side piece that every once in a while he goes out and gets. Yeah, this is an actual relationship. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
So, absolute dirtbag. I think if I were to like squeeze all the articles together to try and find a theme, it's just this episode is just generally a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, that's kind of the theme.
I mean, you have the asshole that refuses to wear a mask. You have the YouTube asshole that tries to rob people for fun. You have this jackass that completely ruined two women's lives for a handful of jewelry. And then the crazy fucker in the last story too. But...
yeah, this guy is a complete asshole. But I mean, obviously, I think he was pushed to his limit. However, someone who wasn't an asshole would have a little higher limit.
Yes, a little bit.
So shall I?
Do it, man. Bring it home.
Frustrated landlord ties up sleeping tenants, dumps them in cemetery. Like you do.
Yeah.
A landlord in Albany, New York, has been charged with kidnapping after allegedly kidnapping two of his tenants and dumping them in a graveyard, according to the Times-Union. The landlord, 48-year-old Sean Douglas, allegedly bound the sleeping tenants with zip ties and tape, placed pillowcases over their heads, and drove them at gunpoint to a rural cemetery before dumping them in the snow, according to law enforcement sources and police records. Douglas had apparently grown frustrated because he had been unable to evict the tenants due to COVID-19 restrictions. Police records obtained by the newspaper indicate Douglas has been arrested previously for charges ranging from assault to violating an order of protection. Douglas was arrested Monday afternoon and arraigned on charges of second-degree kidnapping and held on $50,000 bail. Sean Douglas. Again, somebody who's around our age.
Yeah. Yep.
Completely just fucking up.
Yeah. And, okay, so I looked it up because I was curious. Order of protection is just the New York version of a restraining order.
Right.
So he violated a restraining order in the past. He has an assault record in the past. There it is. And he didn't think this through. The
thing is,
I mean, what?
Good.
What did he think was going to happen? You know, okay, you dump them in the snow. They're all tied up. They're in a cemetery. They're going to get out eventually.
Or die.
Yeah, I mean, yes, possibly. Slimmest of slim chances. But, okay, so he's got a gun because he held him at gunpoint. He's got the zip ties. Take him to the cemetery and fucking bury him. You know?
Ray, don't half-ass this.
Because, again, they're going to help each other get out of this and come back. So, I don't know. I was trying to put myself in Sean Douglas's head. Like, maybe they're just... Maybe the tenants are like me. They just never fucking leave their house, right? And he thought, if they were just gone for 6 hours, so I could clean their shit out, throw it on the sidewalk, and move somebody else in, I'd be golden, you know?
Right. And that's the thing, you know, I don't know what the laws are like in New York or anywhere else, but, you know, the squatter laws, at least in California, I don't know why anybody would be a landlord here.
Really?
Yeah. There are so many ways for landlords to get screwed over, you know, by people that just refuse to leave. You know, and, you know, okay, well, you know, housing is expensive here. And so, you know, you could always point the finger at, well, you're gouging your tenants or whatever. You know, I'm not saying all landlords are angels by any stretch. However, it's very difficult, you know, to exercise an eviction order, at least in the state of California. I would assume, given, you know, the historic parallels between New York State and the state of California, that they're probably fairly similar.
Right. And I'm sure tacking on all these restrictions, too, with the pandemic going on, makes it doubly hard.
Exactly. And, you know, I think, you know, with the pandemic, you know, the stay-at-home and the exceptions that were made, and rightly so, you know, this guy's probably at his wit's end. Because here's the thing, too, is, you know, as a landlord, and I think of landlords, you know, people that, like, own, like, apartment buildings, and they've got several units to sell out. Well, if nobody in the building is paying rent because they don't legally have to for a specific set of time, has there been any provision put in place that says the owner of the building gets to waive his requirement to pay taxes on his building?
Okay, so, and again, I'm not familiar with New York or California, but I remember when these orders started coming out. And the point was, yes, if you're either unemployed because of the pandemic or you have to stay home and watch your kids because they're not in school because of the pandemic and you can't work, whatever the case is, and you can't pay your rent, there are protections in place for you that you will not get evicted. Now, you have to pay the money back. So whenever your situation is better, you do have to catch up. But on the point that you brought up, there were also, and I don't think it was as restrictive, but the government also went to the banks and said, this loan that Sean Douglas has, this mortgage on this apartment building, you have to give him some flexibility on this. So
Okay.
I don't think it was as detailed as the the pause on the rent, but the government did take that into consideration, that basically a landlord is just a pass through. Rent comes in, mortgage goes out. Rent comes in, mortgage goes out. So they took that into consideration, went to the banks and said, all right, you can't hold Sean Douglas responsible for this time frame, because basically we're saying we're taking his income away from him.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah. So
I would, I would hope and assume that would be the case, but I had not seen anything about that.
Right.
So yeah.
But again, going back to what did he think was going to be the result of kidnapping your tenants while they're sleeping at gunpoint and just putting them somewhere else temporarily?
Dumping them in the snow at a graveyard. How is that going to end well?
Right.
This is not something that is done by a sane, rational human being.
Exactly. So, and again, the fact that the article pointed out that he has a history of beating people, people scared enough of him to get restraining orders, and he violates said restraining order. This is not a rational person to begin with.
What the thing is, charges ranging from assault, so from assault to violating a restraining order and everything in between. With this guy, you get assault and more.
Oh, yeah. He's not just going to beat your ass. He's going to beat your ass, tie you up, and dump you in the snow in a cemetery.
But hey, don't worry. He won't kill you.
The only thing you have to fear is not death.
Right? Is frostbite.
Right.
And an uncomfortable walk to the payphone.
Oh,
which
God.
Doesn't exist. Yeah.
But yes, assholes abound this month. Assholes abound.
Yeah. In all of these cases, this could have been done so much easier, or not at all.
Actually, here, I print these out because I'm a Luddite. So let's go back to the beginning.
All right.
Let's go back to Roscoe's Chicken. And Robert no, he was the cook. They don't know who did it. So a guy walks in without a mask and says, I am jonesing for some chicken and waffles. What if...
They say, no, go put a mask on and come back.
Yeah. What if he just put a mask on? We wouldn't have this story at all. Mystery person.
Mm-hmm.
The YouTuber that got shot fake robbing people. Just don't do it, dude.
Yeah. Think it through.
Or...
plan that shit out. There are other ways to be funny and get that bit across.
Yes. Or counterpoint, do your homework. Print out your waivers, go up to this group with David Starnes Jr. Sharpshooter, and say, hey, folks, I see you're a crowd of people out in front of this trampoline park. My buddy and I are YouTube famous, and we want to pretend to rob you. Would you sign this document and act scared when we run at you?
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. And it costs you the same amount of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 more minutes of his time.
Exactly. Joseph Davis, the Floridian that was dating 2 women.
This guy's just a tool. Aside from, I don't know. There is no other course of action he could have taken, because I think he's just that guy.
Yeah. And again, I mean, I can't condone leading a double life. That's a lot of work. Nobody really wins. They only get you half the time. But not only that, he was fucking robbing one of them. So you're just a dick, dude.
Yeah, you're splitting yourself in half. If you would, maybe devote half of, the half that you're stealing from yourself, put that time and effort into a relationship, maybe it would be a good relationship. You wouldn't have to, you know, date somebody else 35 miles away.
35 miles. It's funny, and I think you nailed it too. Like in this.
Well, I'm not worth taking a whole tank, a whole gallon of gas to go see her.
My cutoff is $20 in an Uber. So
yeah,
he took a map, put a pin in his girlfriend's house, and just took a piece of yarn and made a circle around it. Like, I can nail anybody in this circle, and it's okay.
Piece of yarn. Yes.
Oh, fuck.
All y'all within this circle, this is my kill zone.
That's right. I'm going to smash it all in this yarn circle.
I am Joe Douglas, and I am the man.
The very first time I read the article, where, they put the pieces together and he had the relative in Charlottesville, I thought, what a shitty friend or relative to turn him in. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? If the cops called me and said, we think that one of your cousins or second cousins is leading a double life and robbed somebody to give the money to another girlfriend, I would have coughed them up in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, that's my cousin Joe. He's a piece of shit.
Yep. Here's the last known address.
Right?
Would you like me to call him and pretend I'm on my way so you know he's home when you come to arrest him? Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Yep. So yes, like you pointed out, if you're going to leave a double life, be rich, be a traveling salesman, or a truck driver. And don't rob them. Don't fucking rob them, dude.
Don't rob them. It's bad enough you're robbing them of, like, damn. These poor women are going to be, like, scarred for life.
Oh, yeah.
It sucks. Not to this level, but I've been Joe Davis back in the day. And it sucks to be that guy. And you realize that, man, you're not going to trust men for at least 5 to 7 years.
Oh, yeah. Pity the poor fool on OkCupid that hooks up with them next.
Right?
Like, yeah, you can take me to Red Lobster, fucker, but bring your credit report? I want to see your police record.
What, 2 forms of ID?
Yep. You will be fingerprinted at the Olive Garden, so just be ready.
Right? You're not getting in the knickers until I get some Cheddar Bay biscuits.
That's right. Oh, shit. I don't care if it's Lobster Fest. No ass for you until I see a credit report.
Till we verify the...
Oh, I've never been in a situation where I didn't trust somebody to that level, or had the energy to put into stalking to this level. But are there options for just everyday people to do background checks like that you know of?
There is it. You'll see them on the internet. Like anytime you're trying to track like an unknown phone number that comes in across, you can type that phone number in, and if you Google a phone number, you'll see just myriad.
Oh, like those websites to say
companies
we have this guy's
that will
address,
be able to track stuff.
For $7 we'll cough it up, kind of thing.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, oh, we know who this is. For $7, you can find out.
Yeah, but like his situation,
who they are, where they live.
He gave a fake name. And if he didn't fuck up and rob one of them, they never would have found out. Is there a way?
Right.
And again, being a guy, I think it's a lot different. But can a woman research some dude she met off of OkCupid to make sure that he's not Joe Davis.
I think that's a fantastic. No, I'm not aware of any way that they can do that outside of having an account with Equifax and TransUnion.
Yes. Like human resources, yes, can say, Joe Davis, you're not Joe Davis, get the fuck out of here. But can your average person do that? And if not, should this be the idea we take to Big Kitty Labs?
This is the idea we should take to Big Kitty Labs, because I think that, and again, I don't want to sound misogynistic or this is a man trying to solve a woman's problem. But it would, because this is typically, an event that is perpetrated by men on women. I'm surprised that there is not some sort of Angie's List sort of service that would provide these kind of background checks.
Right.
And I think a lot. Oh, here's your $1 million idea, America. Somebody figure it out. Big Kitty Labs. I think whoever could make that happen would be well rewarded.
Absolutely. And again, it may already exist. I just and I'm using the little bunny air quotes. My stalking,
the air bunnies.
Yes. As far as I'll go is I'll Google, I'll check LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. If those all fail me, at that point, I just assume that I made the person up, and I go on my merry way, But
yeah,
I would hope that there's got to be a company out there that provides that service, because again, there's a million Joe Davises out there, and there's nothing OkCupid can do to stop him from doing this. He can be doing it today.
And I don't think a service like OkCupid or any of those dating apps should be held liable for anything that would happen. And I would imagine that when you sign up to that, there is some sort of stipulation that you have to agree to.
They're absolutely protected.
They have to be. Because, the 1% that are predators shouldn't impact the availability of the 99% that are might find love.
Exactly. Maybe that's our $1 million idea. Start a dating site where everybody's identification has been absolutely proven.
Totally vetted.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you go on, you see their shirtless picture holding a dog. But when you click on it, you see their credit rating. You see a blurred out version of their driver's license proving that they are who they say they are. Mm-hmm. And an employment history.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All of which would, because there is plenty of personal identifying information that is publicly available that is not privileged.
Absolutely.
I guess.
Absolutely.
And by virtue of signing up to these services, you have to give over and agree to an amount of, an amount of intrusion into that privacy.
Right.
You can't be anonymous.
Right.
And sign up for OkCupid. However, you've got to allow yourself to be vetted so that you can prove you are who you are. And anybody who is, clicking on your profile, you have to agree to allow them to see a certain amount of information.
Yes, absolutely.
That has to be proven.
Right.
Or verifiable.
So, yes, I want on your website, because I want to find love in this crazy time we live in. But to get into the walled garden, I have to cough up a little bit of my private information that will be shared with other people within the walled garden.
Right. With the assurance that information is protected.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, with slightly better security than, like, let's say, Perler, who made people take pictures of their driver's license. Or the
Department of Defense.
Yeah. Sure, I'll cough up a picture of my driver's license and then the company not encrypt that data and just leave it out there for anybody to steal.
It's just on the cloud.
Oh,
who has access to the cloud? It's a cloud,
right? Only God and birds, and they don't hate me,
right?
So,
and the angels, and they hate no one.
Exactly. All right, I don't think we've solved anybody's problems here. This shit has to already exist. It's just that I've never come across it in my life.
Yeah.
So, okay.
At this level,
so,
yeah.
Sorry, society. I still think a dating site where you can, like, look at somebody's, like, not the them that they want you to see, but the actual them on paper. I think that's
I don't care if you're not, if you don't match the profile picture,
right.
the picture that came with a friend. Because, but, be who you are.
Right.
Allow me to see that you are actually, just not a thief.
That seems fair, right? I mean, dating is a sort of a form of a social contract. So
absolutely,
you should be able to vet the person and not take them on their word. Again, just because I'm coughing up the money for the expensive appetizer tray at Long John Silver's doesn't mean I'm employed or, not live in my mom's basement, or out to completely fleece you.
Or, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, identifying these people that are predators.
Right.
And that goes, male, female. There's both, and oh God, yeah. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, so we've accomplished nothing. We've made fun of some people, and I think we did a spectacular job of checking all those boxes and crossing those T's.
Yes, nothing accomplished except just hanging out and talking about shit.
Yeah, man. And we had a few beers. Ironically, it looks like I stepped up my game and you dropped down a little bit. Was that a Miller Lite I saw you drinking there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miller Lite. Less filling.
Taste.
More taste.
Yeah. More taste than what?
More taste than water.
Yeah. Most of the time. If it's super cold.
I'm trying to watch my figure. I got to go back into the public at some point.
Cheerleader season's coming up.
If we're going to take regionals, I got to drop 20 by July.
I opted for Blue Moon, and I picked up a 6-pack of it at the store, God, I don't know, a while ago, just because I knew this was coming up, we'd have to drink. And I stopped doing drink and draws during the pandemic where people just come over and hang out and drink beer and draw. So what I do now is called Pint and Paints, where my brother comes over and we paint miniatures, like the little D&D miniatures.
Oh, yeah.
So he's pretty safe. We are 6 feet apart, masks, all that shit. But whenever I have Miller Lite in the house, he just fucking just destroys me. Just makes fun of me and like, God, you act like you're 17 still and blah, blah, blah.
Hey, it's a fine American Pilsner.
But he is, he listens to the show, so I've already dug my grave. He's a very high-end drinker. He brews himself, so...
Like high-end, like Rolling Rock, or high-end...
No, like shit you've never heard
imported.
of that you can only buy for a month out of the year. That kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Like I'm looking for a hoppy IPA with something with a little bit of an oaky aftertaste to it, kind of beer drinker.
But I want to taste flowers an hour later.
Right. Yes. So on the other side, as I'm pushing my cart around, I'm like, "Fuck! It's only $8 a 12-pack. Come to Papa."
Right. Dig it.
I'm gonna drink half of you fuckers on the way home.
On the way to the car.
That's right. Don't get to know anybody else in this cart, little guys, because you're not going to be living very long.
Right? You're all doomed.
Oh, shit.
3 of you will never see the inside of my refrigerator.
It's true. I'll drink one of you from the trunk to the door.
Say your goodbyes now.
And so, we already have a bunch of great stories for you guys next month, thanks to Tom's hard work and diligence. So, we will come back in March with a bunch of grade A 5-star assholes to make fun of.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The world is full of assholes.
It truly is.
That's one thing that will never be off the shelf.
So true. So with that in mind, have a great life for the next month or so until we see you again, and just don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole. Happy surviving.
Amen. Night, night.
Ciao.